We may be basking in the glow of what silver did yesterday, reaching over $36 an ounce. But make no mistake, the real battle lies ahead today, and it could be the biggest one that silver faces this year. Let's talk about it as we explore. For those of you who have followed this channel for any length of time, you know that I'm resistant to the idea of silver being suppressed. Now, I do believe that silver's price has been manipulated. I've covered that topic ad nauseum with regards to JP Morgan, but I believe other institutions are involved as well. In fact, most commodities are manipulated in some form or another, largely due to the Federal Reserve and what they do. But there's other things too. The big banks do it. We know JP Morgan did it with silver, gold, platinum, and palladium for selfish gains. But silver price suppression is another matter. That's where the big bullion banks trade futures, and they do high-frequency trades in the dead of night or early in the morning right before the markets open. And usually on Fridays, we've seen examples of massive volume of selling that occurs in a short amount of time. It's suspicious, and I admit that now. But then again, yesterday we saw silver suspiciously climb up dramatically to way above $35 an ounce. Then we saw some resistance, and then it shot up over $36 an ounce. But it's a very quick climb. Now, what was behind that, I don't know. Could that be an anomaly? It very well could be, because we hardly ever see that. We usually see it the other way around. So today is crucial for silver, folks, because today is Smackdown Day. Today is Friday, and by the time you see this video, it very well could have started that Smackdown. The market will have just opened. But I'm recording this the day before, overnight, as the markets indeed are reacting, but to the plus side. And so the market is open, and silver is actually up. And actually, that somewhat surprises me that silver's up overnight here, a couple of cents. So I would have thought maybe we'd see some consolidation at the very least. But usually that doesn't happen until early in the morning. So by the time you see this video, it is quite possible we could see silver below $35 an ounce yet again, trading in the 34s. Now, if that happens, if it trades in the $34 range, like $34.50 or above, we can still claim victory, because what usually happens on a Friday Smackdown is we see it to get back down, knocked down below support. And right now, $34 is a pretty strong support. I did a video just last week about how $34 is so critical and crucial. And I believe now $34 is more critical than ever before. So we can claim victory as silver stackers with regards to what they are able to do to smack it down if we see it fall below $35 an ounce. Because if it's below $35 an ounce, it'll likely get there again next week. There's more that I think is going to be propping silver up at this point than not, which means that if there is suppressive efforts, they're going to not hold as much weight. But it really just depends on what happens today. Now, that's a semi-realistic scenario to where I'm almost expecting to some degree that we are going to see silver fall below $35 an ounce. Now, I might be wrong, and we could see it climb right back up to $36 an ounce. But and if it does that, then we can definitely claim victory, because if we can hold on to $35 through the weekend, then largely, I think the Asian markets probably will get used to it. And then when they open up, we may not see much activity one way or the other. Every Sunday night, I do a market watch, so stay tuned and we'll discuss that. But there will be dips in the market in due course. And before I get to what the other scenario is, where the battle may be lost with silver, I want to remind you of channel sponsor Summit Metals. Whenever there's a dip in the market, that's a good time to buy. And Summit Metals has proven itself to have a lot of good low prices. So check them out, shop around and see what they have there. But more importantly than that, they have great service. They're not always going to be the low price leader, but they're going to have great, excellent customer service, and they've already set themselves apart from other dealers out there on their own. They really don't need me to do that. The reputation has really done well by providing great customer service. So check out summitmetals.com. So as we watch these markets move, let me tell you about the most extreme possibility where the big bullion banks may have an effect, if you believe that's exactly what's going on. If they really smack it down in a coordinated effort and there's a massive dip, then that will certainly raise my suspicions even more than they already are. Remember, I'm the skeptic for price suppression, but I'm more open-minded to it now than ever before. But let's say that it falls below 34. Let's say it falls below $33.50 or below even $33. If we see it fall below $34, then we can say that they win for the weekend. But remember, $33 and change, $33.50 is a previous support level, of which there was a time not long ago, not very long ago at all, when I was saying that $33 is a victory. And so we're just moving up the victories in 50-cent increments here to keep it simple. But there's a psychological aspect to whole dollar and 50-cent moves. And right now, as I'm looking at these numbers right now, we are literally only a quarter. That's 25 cents away of silver hitting $36 an ounce. And who knows what it's going to be by the time this video gets published. But nonetheless, that's the nature of the market. It is volatile, it is crazy, and we should expect dramatic moves one way or the other tomorrow, or maybe not at all. In other words, we should prepare for any and every eventuality that could happen today as you watch this video. Now, I want to prepare you for that because no matter what happens to silver's price, even if it plunges to below 32, 31, or even below $30 an ounce, highly doubt that's going to happen. It does not, I repeat, it does not change the nature of what silver is and has been for thousands of years. It is a commodity. That's first and foremost these days, because it has over 10,000 uses. Over half of its production is utilized for industrial, medical, and technological advancements. So we cannot deny that. It's trading as a commodity. It is an asset in that regard. But it is also a monetary metal, and it remains that to this day. Yea, though it does not actually circulate as money, it is commodity money. And I think that is profound, and it is something that will preserve your wealth, and it does act in concert with gold, even though not directly these days, because hence why the gold to silver ratio is so high. But it is indeed a metal that has been utilized as money in the past and recent past, and people recognize it as a precious metal, a hedge against inflation, and something that will protect us against the economic instability and, yes, even deflation. Talked about that in a prior video as well, too. So I think that when people understand that there's something about silver that is amazing because you can hold wealth outside of the system. And that is a very powerful thing, no matter what the price does. So my message to you is do not be discouraged if the price were to fall below even $30 an ounce. Look at it as an opportunity to buy, in my view. We have to look at the big picture with silver. You know, it's easy for us to gloat when the prices rise like this. We have validation, vindication, and the like. But I always like to be realistic about silver, and I don't let it change my perspective and view about what the metal is. In other words, silver's identity is not in its price. Silver's identity is in its value. And there's a difference between value and price. And silver has proven its value over the course of history. And history is our guide indeed. That historic value is intrinsic and is something that is measured by how the society, how empires, and generations have valued it through the years. And right now, honestly, when you take into account how much is utilized and over 10,000 uses for this metal, it's more valuable than ever before. No question about that. And it doesn't matter if silver's trading at $15 an ounce or $115 an ounce. Silver is valuable above and beyond what the market conditions dictate. So there you have it. Now, I'm going to continue to stack, and I'm continually bullish on silver, especially in that regard as a savings vehicle outside of the system. But I'm also bullish on price. And we reached one target that I predicted this year. And if this continues, well, I'm going to have another revised target and see what happens, like I did when previous target was hit a couple years ago. When it reached 28, I'm going to have a revised target. We'll get to that a prediction and see what happens there. But let me know what your thoughts are about silver and what's going to happen today. Are you celebrating? Are you realistic? Are you cautiously optimistic? Let me know in the comments section below. Hope you found this video informative, insightful, and educational. Would like to extend a multitude of gratitude to you all for taking the time to watch and encourage you to please rate, share, comment, and subscribe.